First of all, let's start opening from the first book we learned in economic, The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. The first chapter talks about division of labor. Because people like to trade for better use of productivity, while divide the work to different divisions is likely to have hundreds or thousands or even millions of productivity in return. Now let's do some math for you to better understand the concepts. For example, 4 workmen in a company could produce a task in the labor force. And their produce rate under such labor division could be 6 units or perhaps let's say 8 or 9 units, which depends. And if the wages of each workman is equally distributed, they should earn each like 1.5 units, 2 or 3 units of wages depending on the amount of product they produced. Now let's make a hypothesis that 4 workmen could produce 5 units of output. After 4 workmen produces 5 units of output, the company gives each workman 1 unit of wages. Which being said, 3 workmen from the workforce get 3 units of wages. Because the workman from the capital uses its power of management ability and leadership, he or she gets to have the right to earn more profit than the workman in the workforce does. Next, let's make another assumption under the condition of having 5 units of profit earned. The unit of wages company gives to the workman this time is 0.8. which leads to the circumstances that workmen from the capital gets to earn 2.6 units of wages in return. So you see the key fact here is that in some parts, workmen from the capitals are earning profits that should have belonged to the workmen in the workforce. Now let's make another assumption that is more aggressive. For example, when the overall effectiveness of the company gas is only 3.8, 3 times 0.8 equals 2.4. Even though there's no sign of increase in their overall labor effectivity, workmen from the capitals could still get 1.4 unit of wages as their profits. For conclusion, whereas the number of overall labor effectiveness does not increase, the company could still earn what they wanted by giving their employees lower wages. Theoretically, it is unnecessary to have labor division if the overall labor effectiveness does not show an increase. However, the above problems seem to reveal that lots of capitals in the companies make the profits from giving their workers lower wages, especially under the condition that the company is not making extra money at all. In other words, our government might have indirectly protected this company which is supposed to go on bankruptcy, and in return, this could affect the employees' rights on the amount of their pay. Yet, no matter what kind of circumstances, if we could keep the Unit 1, we could avoid having this kind of problem to happen again. So what does the Unit 1 stands for? It is actually referring to the subsistence wage. Most of the countries in the world maintain a good balance between the minimum wages and the subsistence wages, or having a minimum wage larger than the subsistence wages. However, why the United States couldn't make it? When the market allows a number of companies that are falling behind the standards continues to operate, as times go by, it will lead to Gresham's law of bad money drives up good. Bad companies continue to give low wages to their employers and earn profit from doing so, even though their overall performance doesn't improve at all. Now let's take other statistics into account. For example, Taiwan has a pretty good record on international competitiveness. However, we did badly on enhancing company competitiveness. Well, at this point, some people might start to ask that if those companies actually shut down, what's good for our labor market? People lose their jobs, right? However, it is always better to have money to make than having nothing. Now let's look at other statistical evidence like the Phillips curve. There is an inverse correlation between the wage rate and the unemployment rate. Perhaps there are tons of different ways for explanation, and I only take this as a proof for reference. Later on, there are a few topics I want to go over with, things like the unemployment rate, labor force participation rate, inflation rate, deflation rate, and rate of entrepreneurship. More importantly, how are we going to maintain the Unit 1? Anyway, this video basically covers the topic of minimum wages, which on the contrary could lead to a few concepts like neoliberalism and theory of opposed minimum wage rate. Well, perhaps you guys could start to think in which position or in which theoretical structure people will bring up those ideas. My name is Owen Chen. I take full responsibility of what I said in this video. Also, I'm open for debate if you have other thoughts or ideas to share.